I had a conversation about the whole Afro Man thing with my mom the other day. I was like, do you know who Afro Man is? And she was like, no. And I've like vaguely hinted. She goes, yeah, I sort of know who you're talking about. And then I mentioned his ongoing legal battles, and suddenly her eyes lit up. She has seen a rash of lemon pound cake posts, is what she has seen.
Yes. That's like, yes. So one of my, there's this influencer I follow who I really like. Her name's Sarah Crafty. She's like, she bakes. I'm pretty sure she gets kind of baked at night and bakes these late night snacks. It's kind of funny. She's really great. But there was a Afro Man concert in Missouri somewhere last night, and she made huge amounts of lemon pound cake and was selling it at his concert. She was like the supplier of the lemon pound cake. That song in particular, Mama's Lemon Pound Cake, is quite a bop. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. That was my self-care this week, was like seriously indulging in Afro Man, the most unexpected defender of free speech ever.
The one that has really hit home for me is Randy Walters as a son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch.
So, okay, for the longest time, any slight frustration in my day-to-day existence, I think, if not say out loud, thanks, Obama, because
right.
of the meme of all the conservatives being mad at Obama about everything towards the end of his presidency. Or for all of his presidency.
For all of eternity.
Yeah. Anyway, that has been sort of my like go-to, well, fuck the world. When I'm like, we've talked about on the show, I have a generally positive outlook on life, but frustrations abound, right?
My God.
Sadness is a crew. I haven't been watching The Sopranos, but in the first episode of The Sopranos, I think it's Paulie that says it, but it might be Silvio. Anyway, one of them says, sadness accrues. And I'm like, yeah, it fucking does. Doesn't it? Collects debt. Yeah, anyway.
Yeah.
Since sadness accrues, we need humor to look on life. And Randy Walters is a son of a bitch the new one that has replaced thanks, Obama. Whenever any little I'm Randy Walters is a son of a bitch. Yeah, anyway, if you don't know what we're talking about, just go to TikTok,
treat yourself.
Go to Instagram.
I'm just saying, treat yourself.
Search Afro Man.
I spent some time on YouTube. Get the whole story. Yeah. It's fantastic. Josh Johnson, if you like that comedian, did a very hilarious like play-by-play kind of breakdown of it. He did that for the Drake and Kendrick Lamar feud too. It was really, really funny.
Okay. I think I was trying to process the other day. What is it about Josh Johnson that makes him so impactful in this moment and so different in some ways? And one of the things that struck me is he is doing at a fairly early stage in his career what Dave Chappelle does now when he has reached every height that he can reach, and he's burned a lot of the bridges, and like some of his audience has left him behind now. But if you watch Dave's recent specials, he is currently doing what Josh Johnson is already doing at the very beginning of his career. And it's
except Josh Johnson's really funny.
Well, no, I mean but what I'm saying is he's just telling stories. Josh Johnson does not have jokes. He tells stories that show the absurdity of life in a way that it's only rivaled genuinely by like people like Chappelle, people like Pryor, people like Carlin, people like fucking Mark Twain could do that in the way that Josh Johnson is doing it.
Yeah.
And what is he? He's like 20. He's so fucking young too.
He's also churning out like literally all of his sets that he does on his tour include like current commentary of what's happening. Yeah. So he's literally writing fresh material almost for every city he's in. It's wild.
That's what I'm like, don't you do a day or two on the Daily Show too? Like, homie.
He does.
Like,
he does.
Where do you have the time?
He's hustling.
Enjoy it while you got it. All right. We're not talking about comedians, though.
We're not.
We're talking about vampires.
We're not.
Welcome to the Articulate Coven, the original, unofficial fan podcast and community for Anne Rice's Immortal Universe. The Articulate Coven is Ashley and Joel, but it's supported by listeners just like you. Find out more at articulatecoven.com/join.
We are the Articulate Coven, the original unofficial fan podcast for Anne Rice's Immortal Universe. We are your hosts. I'm Joel.
I'm Ashley.
And we are the Articulate Coven. Ashley, we have a controversy on our hands. A controversy. I know I didn't notice this. I wonder if you noticed it at all.
Did we do it? Okay.
Nope. It doesn't even involve us, in fact.
Okay,
but
good.
It is around our little show. Okay,
Ooh.
I'm going to start with this. This is the first video, or this is the first comment that I saw that had anything to do with this.
Okay.
I will be the first to admit, I post a lot for our show on Instagram and TikTok and all the places. I do not live in those spaces in the way that some of you all do.
Yeah.
I do not know every facet of what, and here's, somebody commented, and I don't know if I'll see this comment, but I'll give you a quick version here. We asked the question in a recent episode about what came first. This as
the
a
Bogosian
retelling
one?
of the
Yeah, I
story
saw
or
that.
Bogosian. Okay. Somebody pointed out, they're like, how are we 4 years deep into this and y'all don't know that Rollin wrote this specifically for Eric? First of all, that still doesn't answer the question. Did Rollin decide that he wanted this to be a retelling and then he's like, well, I'll need an older Daniel? Or did he know that he wanted it for Eric Bogosian and you justify that by having it be a retelling? You tell me that since you watched all the videos. Ashley and I don't watch all the videos. Part of the reason is because then we'd be parroting other people's opinions without even realizing it. No, exactly. We're going to watch the show. And we do watch the episode Insider sometimes. But honestly, often we see screeners before you all are seeing them. So we don't always see the episode Insiders when we're recording our episode. Anyway, all that to say this, I had no clue. Celestial Shed comments on my reaction to the opening titles of the Vampire Lestat. The amount of cognitive dissonance and copium, which is a great word that I didn't know until just now.
Yeah.
The amount of copium I observe and people trying to deny to themselves that their favorite show is now using AI in their promo is honestly funny to me. I don't mean that in a passive aggressive way even. It's just that it's what the whole show is about. Like, did they really? No, they could never, but they kind of did, though. Shut up. They would never do that, but they did, and now we have to sit with it, laughing, crying face. And I was like, first of all, I was boggled. I was like, what are they even talking about? And then I was like, I read it 4 or 5 times. I finally was like, they're saying they used AI, at least partially, to make this intro video. The opening titles. Did they? And I watched it again, Ashley. I was like, is this AI? I don't.
The only time I'm really sure is when it's a video about bears. And there's like behavior, because I watch a lot of bears. And if there's behavior that I know a bear isn't fucking gonna do, I'm like, you faking motherfuckers.
Okay, Ashley, I watched the bear jumping on the trampoline video and sent it to someone not knowing it was AI. So as bears specifically, you can get me. Make it look like a Ring backyard camera.
Play. I'd probably be more likely to fall for a trampoline one than like a bear coming up to you in the forest and deciding to make friends. That's not what bears fucking do, just so you know.
So I replied to Celestial Shed and I said, do you have any confirmation that any of this is AI? I haven't even heard that speculated. Though I don't watch many other creators on the subject because I don't want to accidentally steal anything. I didn't have any copium or dissonance as I never suspected any of this was AI. Haven't even been given any reason to think so, really. Happy to be proven wrong, though. I'll be glad to bitch about it if I am.
Yeah,
we'll
be happy to bitch.
I will bitch about it, honestly. That's real not cool if that's what they did. I watched it again.
We do not prefer AI.
I don't see the obvious seams that they do. Celestial Shed says, no, not you in general. I mean in general on the internet. I thought the AI parts in this intro video were obvious and blatant for all to see and held my breath for the collective meltdown. But no. I have gently addressed it in comments on other videos on YouTube and only gotten annoyances in return. Then asked my teenage son, who had never used visual AI before, to see if he could pinpoint it, and he did. I'll just say, I think you're saying had never used visual AI as in like isn't steeped in the medium and even he noticed it.
Yeah.
I would just say if you've never used visual AI, then aren't you unaware of the seams maybe? Anyway. He did, easily. Also, AMC has made a deal with Runway AI. Again, I don't remember hearing that. I'll just say, is it AMC, the TV network, or is it AMC, the movie company? Because those are two different things.
Well, and companies are utilizing AI for so much shit right now.
For their marketing and
I
shit.
mean, it is, and if they use it, that's shitty, and I wish they didn't. That's literally how I'm gonna roll with that. That's real shitty.
I'll agree with it.
You could have gotten a visual artist to take care of that for you. Bummer.
But they say, I'm not even mad. It's just baffling to me. People are so loud and ready to fight AI tooth and nail, especially creatives, but when their favorite show uses it, crickets. I still love the series. I've never been in such thrall over anything, really. I'm writing meta no one will ever read. It's my favorite thing ever. Just a bit disappointed over the AI use. I don't think they will use it in the actual scenes in the show. At least I hope. Edited for clarity. Celestial Shed, first of all, thanks for the feedback. Now, here's me asking you all, audience, because you got more Google foo than I do. Is it AI? Is this a conversation that people are having? What's the consensus?
If
I
it's
had not heard any
is
of
it
this.
a conversation we should be having,
Yeah, right?
Yeah, that's
Man.
kind of, I will say openly that is disappointing to me if that is the case. I don't fuck with AI.
I don't
consciously.
fuck with you.
I mean, I am literally forced to use it at
stupid ass
work.
bitch. I ain't fucking with you.
And I don't fuck with that stupid ass bitch. I still don't even use it at work yet. I got a really bad grade on my review for not using AI. But here's the thing about it. Please let's let it do the jobs we don't want to do. Please figure out a way for AI to, I don't know, do my fucking dishes.
File our taxes.
Do
our dishes. Take out the trash.
The shit that nobody wants to do.
Mow my goddamn yard.
I would like AI to do that. I would not like AI to make people who are not creative steal from artists to feel more creative. That is not the point of AI.
Actually, I saw someone post on Threads the other day two images, and they said, which one of these logos do you like better for my new business? And it was a business called Artisanal Sodas, and it was two AI created images, and the comments, let them have it anyway.
Good. Yeah, no, I mean, that sucks. And if you're doing it to save money, don't do it in something as obvious as the fucking opening credits of the show that everyone's going to watch 800 times.
Yeah, that's just not the place to save money, man. That's not the way to do it.
But yeah, I'm interested to see if there's any other speculation about that out there. That's the first I've seen of that. But like you, we're not out there trolling the streets.
It's gonna fuck your position with creatives though too. That is the sort of thing that
it's damaging.
That the leading creators, people like Rollin, will leave your studio. They'll go work somewhere else.
Yeah.
All right. Here's the best feedback that I've gotten in a while. I was so tickled with this, I wanted to share it specifically. I don't know if he's maintained and will be watching this episode specifically, but one of our patrons, Kevin, who is one of a handful of patrons we have who doesn't even watch the Anne Rice stuff. They just watch Dark Shadows.
Oh,
my reactions over on YouTube.
I've been reading a lot of those responses that people are fucking into that. The people that are into that are way into it. I love it.
I mean, it makes sense. There's 1,200 plus episodes of the show.
Yes.
There are books. There are literally novels written in universe. There's a new comic book that continues the original canon in some fashion coming out sometime this spring. It may already be out, in fact. And then, of course, there was not a spinoff, a reboot that they did in the 90s. Anyway, I love that audience. They're a lot of fun, and it is so much fun. I'm just about to get to the really beginning of the really good part. The vampire is about to show up finally.
Yes.
So
Barnabas,
one of those patrons though, Kevin, commented on our episode 1, season 1 rewatch of Interview with the Vampire and said, I finally gave in and watched this first episode. I resisted until now because the show was popular, if that makes sense, and because adaptations of books I love make me uncomfortable. To my mind, this series is more of an alternate telling than an adaptation, but maybe that's just semantics. I like that, honestly. It's an alternate telling. That's it. Listen, I just finished an alternate telling of Huck Finn in the book James by Percival Everett.
Oh, yeah.
And it's fucking brilliant, Ashley. The whole thing's good. The last hour and a half, 2 hours of the audiobook, I can't tell you how many people I recommended it to personally as I was finishing up that last hour and a half or so. Anyway, so I get that, Kevin. Anyway, I will keep watching, and I enjoyed your discussion. Hello, Ashley. So this is Kevin's first real interaction with
Hi,
you.
Kevin.
I have one point that I want to ask about, and I thought this was so brilliant because I don't think I've ever heard anybody else say it. The way the camera sweeps across Storyville, each time we go back there in the flashbacks in episode 1, it reveals the electric sign for the Avery Hotel in such a manner that for a second, you think the sign is going to say Slavery Hotel. It looks like it's revealing more letters. I've never noticed it before. I went back and watched. I was like, oh,
Damn.
yeah, that had to be personal. But anyway, do you think this trick of cinematography was intentional? Am I the only one who sees this, or just one among many?
Wow.
Kevin, if other people had noticed that, I hadn't heard it before, but I absolutely think that was an intentional move. We've talked so many times about the parallel of the slavery, enslaved people owning Louis in the novels to the pimp and brothel owner of the TV show Louis, and the ways in which those two roles parallel each other.
Yeah. They're kind of mirrors.
But yeah, man, I think absolutely they were like, well, we're not going to name it the Slavery Hotel, but we can make it the Avery Hotel and skim across it in a way that reminds you. Yeah. Very good call. And honestly, Kevin, I hope that you stay on board. Thinking about it as an alternate telling, I think, is a great way to look at it. It will save you from being... Ashley and I were so upset with episode 5 of season 1, for instance, right? The first time. Do you remember how we were like, what if they've driven our favorite thing in the world off a cliff, Ashley? What if we have to burn this show down and turn it into a protest against AMC as a body because of what they've done? No, I mean, that's a little bit overplaying it. You were like, they have a story to tell, asshole. But it
was really intense.
I was so distraught. Anyway, alternate tellings, great way to look at it.
Yeah.
But genuinely, this television series is amazing, and this episode's a great example of that.
It is.
I'm
this
super
episode
excited.
Is so fun.
Oh man! Okay, we get to the very end of it, and I will go straight there. They're leaving the mansion of these, bourgeoisie, terrible people that they have assaulted and killed and eaten, and they're burning the house down as they exit. And from the house comes like a burning body running, and Judah can't help but chuckle to himself. And he says, I mean, all of that was terrible, obviously.
Right. But it was brilliant.
But it is really nice to see them having fun.
Yes. That was my whole thing last episode. I was like, y'all could go have a little bit more fucking fun. Like, this does not have to be a horrendous experience. You're in Europe, for fuck's sake. Find something fun to do.
Yeah, this... not unlike episode 5 from season 1, there were parts of this episode that we'll get to and discuss that made me think they are going far afield from what I remember from this novel, and it is bothering me. And yet, the overall feeling of this episode is so much lighter and so much more fun. There's a lot of humor in this episode.
Well, what
after
I love
the weighty issues of World War II, it's nice.
Yeah, and what I love is that, like, the intensity in the interview itself in our current day is ramping up in intensity and kind of danger, and right now in the past in the story, it's like it feels like for the first time in a while, kind of like, oh, this might be okay for them. This could be, oh, they finally found these vampires. And that Santino guy is kind of a dick, but everybody else seems pretty cool, like, it's such a really great dichotomy between those two situations. And then the fact that you don't, obviously we know, but like if you're watching this for the first time, you don't really know the danger that's lurking underneath the facade of this theater of vampires, and what their intentions are for Claudia and for Louis.
Okay, except I sort of think you do. I'm skipping way ahead, but this tells the tale of the overall episode, I think, too. Judah pointed out, first of all, he just was so in love with Santiago. He and I had a great conversation about Santiago.
That man.
After the first scene with him, where we see the whole performance, right? And we get to the end of it, and they kill the woman on stage and dump her body and whatever. When we cut, before we go backstage, we had to pause the show, and he wanted to unpack that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But he pointed out, he says, Santiago told the audience exactly what was going to happen.
Exactly what he's going to do.
And that it was real. And then he just did it. And yet, because of the facade and the trappings of politeness that society has, right?
Right.
Everyone assumes he can't be telling the truth.
And
the
a theater.
Same thing, though, happens.
You're in a theater, of course.
Well, yes. But the same thing happens backstage. The first thing, really, that Santiago interacts with Louis and Claudia, he says, 5 insolent months of nights waiting for you to humble us with your presence. I ask you, Maitre, was it worth the wait? And then we play it off and he smiles and it's laughs and everybody, yay, the Americans.
Yeah. He's a dangerous person.
He lays it out. He tells them, I'm going to kill both of you motherfuckers and I'm going to bring him down for letting you in. As a matter of fact, actually.
Yeah, he is. I mean, Santiago is the fucking wild card in this whole situation for sure. And he is dangerous, and he's clearly dangerous. If I were Louis and Claudia, I'd be keeping a real sharp eye on that motherfucker. And then I'd probably fall in love with him on accident.
As soon as he does his opening and he flies up towards the balcony and everything, Judah turned to, like, the first line he says, he turned to me and gave me a look. And I was like, I know, watch. And we let that whole opening play out. And he was like, this guy, who is this guy? And I was like, oh, Judah, first of all, there's a few other shows you want to go watch him in. He's done a lot of stuff lately. Actually, you're not the only one that's fallen in love with him now. I was like, but I said, this is no spoilers, but just, there is a line that's become a meme from the trailer for season 3 where Lestat screams, Santiago, I could have understood. At least he has a presence. But Armand? Judah was like, yes. That guy does have a presence.
Look,
anyway.
I have spent 30 plus years hating Santiago. And like 2 seconds of this actor on stage, Ben Danielson, 2 seconds of this man, and I was like, oh, Santiago could get it.
I'm suddenly mad at Anne. I'm like, why didn't you ever write Santiago's book?
Right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, all of a sudden I give a shit.
Paris was an awakening for Louis. Paris was a hunger. I love how right off the top of this episode, Armand is inserting, and Armand is explaining, and Armand is framing for Louis and Daniel.
Yeah, he's not even saying, like, talking about, like, a personal, like, oh, we did this, or this happened. He's like, no, this is how Louis felt.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I have 2 lips and a tongue. I will speak for myself, please.
Speaking of, I like Claudia's assertion. What makes you think Paris is a woman? I'll tell you what a woman is.
Yeah.
Okay. Daniel is more playful in this episode with his interaction, but he does not let off the gas at all. Oh, right. Because there wasn't any racism in 1940s France. They say something about, Louis says that he and Claudia were both shocked that their skin tone didn't draw any attention really on the streets.
Right.
And he's like, French sort of famously racist in several different ways. I mean, particularly in 1940. I don't no. Oh, okay. All right.
It was all fine and dandy there.
Yeah. You guys gonna
paradise.
Finish each other's sentences the whole time?
Yeah. When also you consider, like, the possible fuckery that's happening with the finishing of the sentences, you know, like, that it's, like, not just, oh, we share the same thoughts here, but no, I've put some of these thoughts in your head. It's just messed up.
Yeah. We've been together for 77 years, Daniel. 47 more than he did with Lestat. Like, okay, Daniel can still do math.
Petty bitches.
Yeah, just the pettiest of bitch. Okay. Louis asks, or Claudia asks Louis, what he looks for in a photograph,
Oh, I
and he
love this
goes on
scene.
this beautiful poem, just describing the what photography means to him, and it like. He says it later. Or he says, maybe he already said it earlier. I took up photography as a hobby. And
Mhm.
Armand says something about how silly it is for a vampire to have a hobby. This is Louis's current incarnation of hanging on to mortality, right? Someone points it out so well in the comments. Let me see if I can find it. I'm not going to be able to find the exact thing, but someone mentioned, we talked about how Claudia is always looking for connection and something more, and Louis is, but he doesn't recognize it in Claudia and can't. He's like, why do you need to know all these
Yeah.
things?
It looks
Just because it's
different for
not the
her.
particular thing. Okay, more than that though, and this is what someone pointed out in the comments, and forgive me that I can't find you and give you credit, but someone said Louis can interact, and can form friendships, bonds, relationships even with humans. Claudia is seen as a child when she interacts with humans, and she's already made it clear, I don't want no perverts. So vampires are the only ones that can see her and appreciate her as a grown woman, even though
Yeah.
her body is eternally 16 or whatever, 14,
Yeah.
whatever she's supposed to be. Yeah.
Yeah. It's our only hope for like a fucking community.
Okay. She cuts Louis off though about describing the photo. She's like, sometimes I want the short answer, Louis.
Answer.
He says, let me think I'm deeper than I am. Is that how you sell yourself? And I thought, oh, this is so telling. One of the key important things about the character of Claudia, I think, in the books and in the show, I think this is true in both. She does not sell herself. Claudia believes no illusions about herself. She understands her shortcomings. She understands her advantages. She understands her surroundings and her place in the world at large. That is a dire set of circumstances that she finds herself in as she comes into her own, and she fully calculates all of that. And so she's sort of got a chip on her shoulder because of it, but she has no illusions. Lestat thinks he's better than he is so often, right? He's more giving, he's more understanding, he's more justice filled, and he never kills anything but the evildoer, et cetera, right? Louis thinks he is softer and more mortal and more ethical than he actually is in practice.
Yes.
Even in the books, he's a fucking violent, vengeance-filled bitch, in fact.
But he's like, I eat bunnies, so I'm a good guy.
Yeah, he doesn't kill quite as many humans as some of the other vampires.
He doesn't play with his food the way others do. Yeah. It is
until he decides to burn down everything that you know and all of the friends that you have and cut your head off specifically.
Yeah, 100%. He will burn your house down. That is a man who loves some arson. I'll say this too about Claudia. There's something about what you said, having no illusions about your place. That's part of being a woman too, in a way. That's a whole piece of that too. Like that there's not a girl with two legs and a right hand that hasn't laced her keys through her fingers walking to her car. Like you do have women operate in the world very differently than men do. And that is a real piece of it too, I think. She'd be in danger. She's in danger because she looks young from people too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, they don't know what they're going to get their fucking hands on when they fucking mess with her. But realistically, that's part of being a woman.
As soon as you said that, Ashley, I immediately went to our time in New Orleans last Halloween, which, by the way, go to articulatecoven.com/events.
Oh.
Get your tickets now for 26 and 27.
Yeah. Who else coming? I can't wait to hear who else coming.
Somebody, we were trying to find somebody's car, locate somebody's car. And I immediately went to the fact that the woman in question in this situation knew precisely how fast and how far she could travel on foot, comfortably, quickly, safely, to get to the place. The couple of guys who were trying to be helpful both overestimated how fast and how far they could go, but also our overestimation wasn't damaging to us, other than we got back and we were more tired than we would have been. Her exact, precise estimation was important because she needed to know, well, I can't run away from whoever it might be that I bump into between here and there. Like, yeah, oh man, it is, even though we have this show where we talk about this all the time, female vampire after female vampire goes, first thing I want to do is cut all my hair off and walk the streets at night and not worry.
I mean,
and I'm like,
that I can't.
oh, women are afraid sometimes.
I mean, that freedom, what would that be like? I have no idea. It would be, I mean, honestly, it'd be one of the first things I did. I would be like, I'm about to fucking own the night in a real way and fuck anybody that wants to mess with me, just because we all have the audacity. A lot of us ladies have a lot of audacity and have a lot of lady balls and are not unwilling to put ourselves in situations or step in if we need to step into things, but we are always hyper aware of what's going on. And then if we're lucky, we have a partner who is also hyper aware of what's going on too and can be our backup if we need to, because sometimes my mouth gets a little big for my body, and that's what I have Brett for.
I was gonna say, at least you got like serious back. You got genuine, solid backup.
I got a whole ass Viking.
Just the silhouette that the man cuts is imposing in its own, and he's got the deep voice to come in. What seems to be the problem here, fellas?
Yeah.
And suddenly there's less of a problem, at least.
But here's another thing, though. Girls and women, we learn tricks and we learn de-escalation skills. So that same trip, we were outside that same bar, quite drunk, this New Orleans trip. And there was this guy in a cowboy hat that had been hanging out, and he was fine for a long time. But he was just, we were done. We were done.
It was too much. He'd been there too long.
And he was starting to get aggressive. He was starting to get a little grabby, handsy. No, we're not doing that. So, that's one of those situations where I just this Ashley gets a little tall and she straightens her back and she broadens her shoulders and she says, okay, you know what? This has been real fun. We've had a good time, but we're done. And then when he's like, no, I'm sorry. No, I was just, no. We're done now.
We're done now.
We're done now. Like, clear boundaries is the key. And being a little polite because it's confusing, But, that's the thing, you have to learn tricks. Claudia's learned some tricks, Like you said, she's been able to figure out what she's good at, what she lacks, and you find what you need to fill those gaps. And that's what sucks so bad is this could have been such a great place for her. They like her. They genuinely like her. Everyone but Santiago, she's having fun. She fits in and she's finally living a fun existence for the first time for her. That isn't about Louis. That's about her, Ugh.
What's crazy is I know the joke is so many plots could be solved with a Post-it note or a cell phone call, right? But everyone is subterfuging. This starts with the rift that we don't really see in this episode, but is already there between Armand and Santiago. This coven is already coming to a head before Louis and Claudia ever come to town. Louis and Claudia are a useful... You're like, oh, Jesus, this is a terrible analogy. They're the Reichstag fire for this coven, right? That's Santiago, the fucking Nazi-looking motherfucker that he is. He did look, it occurred to me, I was like, that blonde hair is so on purpose, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
But that's what he does. He sees an opportunity and he's like, the outsiders, the outsiders.
You can tell he's been sitting on his rage against Armand for a long time. And this beef has been beefing. There have been several diss tracks written already.
on a separate note, because there are a few opportunities for me to do this. So let me bring you one here. Let me praise Armand and Louis for a second, okay? They, at the beginning of this episode especially, in front of Daniel, they're holding hands. They're right on top of each other on the couch, like newlyweds in front of mom and dad, right? They're finishing out each other's sentences. They are remembering each other fondly. And genuinely, I think some of this is real. Specifically, the scene where Daniel says, what were the first words from the ancient vampire to the future love of his life or whatever. And when they go back and forth there, it's really sweet, honestly. And you see the romance and you do see the love and affection from the two of them.
You do.
Okay.
And I think in this episode, you see that starting, you see that kind of beginning, and it's quite sweet.
And we see none of the angst that we talked about in the bedroom scene from last episode or whatever. Yeah. And the juxtaposition there. So here's my praise. I do love it when a couple does not air their dirty laundry in public, right?
Yeah.
Having a friend or two who you can, man, I am really butting heads with my wife, my husband, whatever today because of X, Y, Z, and someone that is not going to hold that against your partner in any way, but also not going to understand, well, what did you say that you're not sharing with us, and not just feed into your bullshit, right? That's great. I think that's good. But someone who runs immediately and tells or posts on fucking Facebook or Instagram about every little minor fucking thing that their partner did. I'm like, why don't y'all just split up? I don't
think you like each other very much.
Yes. When you constantly hear somebody praise their partner in public, I dig that shit. That doesn't mean the relationship's perfect, but that means they work their shit out behind closed doors in a way probably that's pretty equitable. I say that. Maybe I'm just assuming. I will say this. I don't hang out with people who treat their wives or their partners or their husbands or whatever in shitty ways.
Yeah.
That's like, I can fucking smell a rat. Anyway.
Yeah. I'm not about that.
I like this. I liked it. They're having problems behind closed doors, which, by the way, there's a great bit of feedback about that I will get it to, because this is super recent, as a matter of fact. Okay. The Dream of Arcadia says, I am so glad you touched on that interaction between Louis and Armand in the bedroom. I've seen many different takes on this, but I think you've hit the nail on the head. Others have mentioned the BDSM paraphernalia around the bedroom, and that it's out in the open as if it's recently been in use. But the feeling I get from this very brief kiss and the way Armand is resigned to nothing else happening is that those tools have become more like artwork than actual items being used.
Yes.
I don't think for a second they wouldn't use their own noises to throw Daniel off or to get into his head. No, the bed death has happened already, and it is ongoing. 100%. We talked about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That's true.
They're in that same place that Louis and Lestat were for many years. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, frankly, we know Louis gets here. We've talked.
And
this is a problem for Louis. Yeah. Now, it's also a problem for him that he's living 70 years with a man who is lying to him actively, but still.
Abuse does strange things to you. And vampires are on a different timeline, I guess we give some grace.
While I'm looking at comments, by the way, because this is a good one, Dialiga says, Joel, my baby boy, not you thinking the motherfucker was the catfish with teeth, laughing crying face. Also, I'm very excited for Judah to join and for the Pride and Prejudice watch. Yes, several other people said they were excited to have Judah on.
Yes,
we are too.
I am so
in case
excited.
You missed that,
I can't wait.
In between season 2 and season 3, when we finish our rewatch of season 2, we're going to do a full recap of the show and your speculation, your feedback on what you think's coming next. We'll watch the 94 film Interview with the Vampire with Judah, and then we'll have him on an episode to talk about the series and the movie. And then we're going to do Pride and Prejudice, the version that features Jennifer Ely, who is now our Gabrielle. So there you go. Oh, on that note, Book Scars and Purrs said, Keira Knightley's chin acting rivals Kerry Washington's lip quiver, lol. If the two of you haven't seen a Shah Rukh Khan movie, can I suggest that both of you watch Kabhi Khushi Kabhie Gham? I believe I said that right. I had such a crush on the actor Harith Roshan from that movie. Is this the time to be asking me for booty? Words to live by, lol. Okay. Is this the time to be asking me for booty? Very good point. Very good point, Ashley. And I was reminded, I was like, boy, I really did make a stand there that he should have just fucked that man.
Look, listen, we're not talking about our real lives here. We're talking about fucking hot vampires.
These are not, none of these are ever conversations that have ever happened in behind Joel's own closed doors. None of I
Tell
don't.
Kelly
We don't
I've
bring
got
our.
her back.
Do you think we do this show as therapy? That is not what the show is about. Let's talk about childhood alcoholism and family. No, okay.
Okay, full disclosure, I'm drinking a White Claw right now. So
Oh, God.
I almost did a spit take.
The plays were weird.
Mm.
The plays were timeless.
I love these interactions with the two of them. I do love the energy of it. It is really fun. It is really interesting, but also there's a little part of me that's like, this is so fake.
So it's so strange because is it fake? Is it fake if it's built on a lie? Is it man,
Well,
okay.
and maybe it's not that it's fake, it's that I know I know what's gonna happen. You know, like
Yes,
I know
it's a house of
that
cards.
it's built on a lie. I know that it's built on a lie.
Yes.
And so maybe that's
Yes.
it. That's why it feels a little bit like they're putting on a show. But it does feel a little bit like they're putting on the show of like, we are so together, we are so in love, we are so you know, it's kind of like the opposite of that couple that you said that where one partner goes to social media immediately and is like, blah, 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 blah. This is the one that's like, that has the like double name Facebook profile where it's like both of
And
them.
you're like, that's because one of you had a Tinder profile and didn't tell
Somebody
the other one
cheated.
for a while.
I'm like, who
Yeah.
cheated? Who cheated? Yeah.
Okay, so okay. There's a Richard Gere movie. I can't remember who the female lead in the movie is, but it's set in the Civil War or right after the Civil War.
Oh, it's Jodie
and Richard
Foster.
Gere. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, but I didn't want to say it because I
Yeah.
wasn't certain. But he comes home from the war, except the whole plot of the movie is he actually her
He who
husband?
is-
Because maybe
yeah.
he's just a guy who vaguely looks like him.
Yeah.
And my think genuinely when you just said like because it's not real, that's what I'm thinking of. Like they develop a relationship, and I think in the like a big part of the movie is her saying, "I kind of like this guy better, even if he's not my husband."
I
Right? He's
mean,
better
little
looking for sure. He
amnesia
treats
didn't
me
hurt.
better. Yeah.
Little amnesia didn't hurt Harrison Ford regarding Henry is all I'm saying. He was an asshole.
I was thinking about Overboard, where Kurt Russell throws Goldie Hawn off the boat, and then it's just like, "You live in this trailer park with me, baby."
That movie's so fucked up, but it's so funny.
Did you know they remade that? I don't think they
Yeah.
called the new one over. I was going to say
No, they did, or something similar, and they reversed.
Yeah, they reversed it. It's the guy that gets trapped by the woman in the new version.
Look,
I
in
think,
in the 2020s, that still feels like kidnap. That definitely feels like kidnapping.
even when you roll reverse it, it's still bad. But like that, I think there was an executive that was like, "We can't do this. I don't care how much you all like this movie. We can't." And they were like, "Well, what if we made the woman the guy, the one,
the kidnapper.
You know?" We're like, "Okay, fine." Anyway, okay. I just want to say one more time though, Santi fucking Ago. He's so good when he grabs this woman. Okay, first of all, I wish I was filming. If I was a smart man, I would have been filming. Judah's face when he realized that Annika was a real person, not an actor, and also had been allowed to escape on the stage. This is the final scene that Armand said was the only one that mattered, actually. It's not the woodcutter and death. Yeah, the last play is Annika being allowed to escape on the stage. When he realized that, he turned and looked at me and I was like, I know, it's so fucking, the confirmation of having someone who has not loved this blonde vampire since they were 12, right? To watch this and go, genuinely great. This is an
really good
amazing
shit.
story. Yeah, and it's so well told. It's so fulfilling. It's so fulfilling.
That the part when Santiago is talking to the man in the audience that Annika says, "Yeah, kill him instead of me." That is so intense and great. He's just electric. Like
that's it. He's in the way that cult leaders are, in the way that Hannibal Lecter is, right? Like we talk about,
like
yes.
Just
yes.
just that kind of sizzling electricity that some people have, that you're like, oh, you have something different over there, you know, where their auras are
Okay.
just a little brighter or a little, you know, I don't know.
We've talked about it before. You said that Brett has it. What's the French word for the call of the void or
The
whatever,
call
where
of the
you
void,
can't.
yeah.
Okay. That is what Santiago in this TV series has. He is the
call of the
physical
void.
manifestation of the call of
Yeah.
the void. Exactly. Like,
Yeah,
you know, this is a crocodile, and you don't. He's so lovely though.
I
He's
want him to grab me off the back of his motorcycle and fucking
yes. I'll ride that
stick
motorcycle backwards,
woo.
Santiago. I will so ride it backwards.
Sign me up. Sign me up. The fact this remains the craziest fucking thing that's happened to me in this whole process of watching this series, which is a character that I hated so much, had no use for, literally all just waiting for them to show up, waiting for them to then die. That's all I wait for with Santiago. And to get to really look at that character in an entirely different way and have a different, like, and for me to have a different take on it is really exciting and interesting. It makes the conflict with Armand so much more dangerous and interesting than it was in the books. Honestly, he's just, that man.
Man, okay. Armand says, all right, it comes out. Daniel does this whole, I get it. It's a telenovela.
Oh God, I love that.
You had stolen away with my dead husband. Okay. Armand says in that back and forth though, he tasted like vermouth and annihilation.
Oh God. Right? That sounds accurate.
First of all, when I heard it this time, dirty little rascal that I am, I immediately went, what tastes like vermouth and annihilation? Do you mean his kisses, Armand? Do you mean his blood? Do you mean that dick? I'm just saying, Armand, which part tastes like annihilation and which part tastes like vermouth?
Which part was annihilating is what annihilated you?
Okay. When he goes to the lawyer's office, almost immediately, Judah's like, why would you do that? He was so mad at Louis when Louis said, I needed confirmation of his death. Judah says, you could have had that, motherfucker.
Right.
You could have put him in the sun. You could have put him in the incinerator. You could have not put him in a box that would be transferred
from the inside.
Like, yeah, and you know what? Judah wants words with Louis on this one particularly. This is the first time he's genuinely got mad at somebody in the show, and he got real mad at Louis.
I love it. And I'm with you, Judah, 100%. Yeah, you had all kinds of things you could have done to confirm that motherfucker's death.
He was so delighted when the hand slides up and grabs the paper from Louis to begin. He said, this is going to be in Lestat's voice, of course. And then Lestat is there with him. This, again, we talked about this when we watched it the first time, but this is so brilliantly done. It's not a cheap way to get Lestat into the episode, which is what you're angling to find a way to do. It's a brilliant way to do it.
And it's not cheesy. It could be like a little too like cutesy on the nose kind of a vibe, and it's not. It's like, it's a genuine kind of like lingering of a presence, you know. It's really well done.
And Sam gets to play so much in this monologue too. There's the line, don't waste your life on vengeance. Let treachery eat away at them from within. You are the only being I trust above and beyond myself. And the whole time he's having to watch Lestat's face and hear Lestat's voice say these things to him. And you're like, I gutted you and left you on the other side of the Atlantic, but sure. Okay. All right.
But you were a dick.
I mean, yes. Oh man. Okay. Daniel questions this and sort of pokes at all of it, and Armand shuts it down pretty quickly when, well, first of all, Louis gets angry and goes mind trolling again and really pisses Daniel off. But then Armand shuts it down and he's like, we should stop this. And again, Judah got so mad. He's like, well, listen, telling my favorite character, he's decided, by the way, he's not here for the vampires. He's just here for Eric Bogosian.
I love it.
Telling my favorite character that he's got to be quiet is not going to make me like Armand. I was like, yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
There's so many things to dislike.
Daniel won't stay quiet long, though, so don't worry about it. It'll be okay.
No, but man, the escalation with like Louis kind of probing and like he's just trying to hurt him. He's just trying to be mean. He's trying to score points, you know, and like that's such a hateful move. Like in an argument, in a disagreement, in anything, saying things just to score points and be hurtful is a really immature move.
But especially when you flew this motherfucker around the planet to come and have this discussion in the first place. You're like, please come and talk to me. And now you're mad at the way that he's talking.
You just cried to him an episode ago about how much you want this.
I want this.
I want this.
But not like that, Daniel. Oh, anyway.
But it has to be under my, it has to be exactly the way I approve of.
Okay, to a back and forth from Armand and Louis as the rest of the crowd. And by the way, the whole scene where they're tearing up this mansion behind them is so brilliant. It's
one of my favorite things.
Okay, and it's not unlike the fight scene from season 1 where we talked about you show it from Claudia's perspective, which makes it worse in some ways, and yet we don't have any violence on screen, basically, so our rating doesn't get problematic, right? Same thing here. We don't actually see blood and gore.
Well, it's kind of funny.
It's played for laughs.
Yeah,
yes,
it's played for laughs. Yeah,
because it's a remove.
Well, and we're also in this situation where we're just dealing with the vampires. We're not looking at the people. We don't know the people. This is the vampires having a feast together. It's like family dinner night.
Oh, okay. All right. I am currently reading One Day Everyone Will Have Always Been Against This, which is about the genocide in Gaza. Oh. And it's a brilliant book, by the way, really good audio book, narrated by the author, I believe. But there was a line in it today. I was mowing today, and I was listening to part of it, and this line just slayed me, though. It was talking about the ramp up in the rhetoric in Israeli newspapers and reporting and the editorials that came out. And the final straw that he pointed to was there was a headline in an editorial that said, "When is genocide okay? When is genocide justified?" I think even was the phrasing. And it was like, okay, to get there, there was another editorial where someone used the phrasing, they described children, Palestinian children, as future explosives. And I'm like, okay. But the phrasing that hit me so much was, he said, we have to make them Nazis. Then we have to make them worse than Nazis. We have to make them the worst humans in history. And then their removal and non-existence isn't a problem for us until they're all gone. And then we can remember how we were all always against this and obviously understand that it was wrong. And that is what they did to this house full of people for us so that we can laugh at the vampires destroying them. They said, they're not just Nazis. They're not just Vichy France. They're selling to the black market while the rest of France starves. And they're only in this position to do so because they were Vichy France and Nazi sympathizers and probably Nazis themselves all during the war. So we can totally, eat this. And I mean, like, in this specific circumstance, we're glad to do it. This is fiction. But when I'm seeing real world parallels, I'm like, oh, fuck. Again, I think that's what art is supposed to do for us. We can enjoy the comedy of the violence, and then we also are supposed to process, how do we write away this violence for characters that we love, and how do we make it okay? And do we do that in real life?
What are we?
Your favorite guy that wears a red hat. Yeah, exactly. Okay, but 2 lines there during that scene from Armand specifically. First of all, they ask, are you coming? And he says, I am now where I most want to be. I am now where I most want to be. He says later to Louis something like, the man who has captivated my thoughts or captured my mind since the first time I saw you. He lays bare in a hard, direct way that I want you badly. Also admits that it's going to be complicated. But then the other line that I thought was so telling is Armand says to Louis when Louis doesn't or half answers a question, he says, I like how you withhold. Oh, you won't like it after 77 years, motherfucker.
Nope. You won't like it in the bedroom when all you get is a little cold peck on the cheek.
What a good fucking show, Ashley.
Oh my God.
I'm glad they're making more of it.
I am too. And really, like, I haven't revisited this since the last time we watched it. And it is like, it's just so delectable. It's just unlike anything else
It's really
that's
good.
on TV right now. It's really special and it's beautiful. The language is beautiful. So many of Louis' lines when he's telling this story are just poetry. They're just amazing, and they evoke so much imagery, and it feels so hand in hand with Anne, and I love it. I'm so happy we're doing this rewatch before we start the new season.
I'm currently rewatching Boardwalk Empire as one of my like kind of background shows when I'm in between tasks or projects, whatever. It's a great iPad show. And it occurred to me the other day, I'm like, someday we'll be far enough away from the series or we'll be doing something else or whatever, and we won't be talking about Interview and these TV shows necessarily on Articulate Coven. This will absolutely join that pantheon of like The Sopranos and Deadwood and Boardwalk Empire, where I just put them in rotation. And like when I've finished one, I start one of the other ones and I just watch them again and again and again.
Yeah.
This is brilliant artistic television. I'm very glad that we're all getting to enjoy this. Can't wait for them to add to this canon.
Oh my God,
sure.
I'm so excited for this new season. It'll be here before you know it. I know it feels so far away, guys, but it's going to be here before we know it.
It is. We're already so close and we're rolling downhill. All right. That is our discussion of episode 2 of season 2 of Interview with the Vampire. We'll be back next week, talk about episode 3. And there's a little flashy backy in that one, y'all. Just get ready for it. Not to where you think, though. To a different time.
Flashback?
That's Judah saw the header image or whatever, which is Harlequin Lestat, and he immediately went, oh, we're gonna get this before we get 1973.
Yeah,
bud, we are.
Sit on that for a hot minute. I'm so excited to watch this next episode.
If you are not a patron, let me suggest you go check out articulatecoven.com/join. $2 or more a month gets you access to everything we do early and ad-free, including our Articulate Coven Afterlife segments. Tonight, we're going to talk about episode 7 of season 1 of Castle Rock, The Queen. Again, an amazing episode of television. I mean, genuinely could be a little movie all on its own.
It's so beautiful.
Patrons, hang around for that. And if you want to check it out, you can get it right now if you want to go join us. All right. Until next week, we have been your hosts. I've been Joel.
I'm Ashley.
And we are the Articulate Coven.
Thank you for sharing this time with the Articulate Coven. Support the show as either a free or paid member at articulatecoven.com/join. You can also find us on YouTube, Spotify, and wherever you listen to podcasts. Find more from the Coven with our sister show, Flan Again, covering the works of Mike Flanagan.